Hello everyone and welcome to today's edition of the SPY Review. It's March 27th, Wednesday. So let's take a look here. You see we opened today, and if you remember yesterday's video, I had mentioned that we had a spinning top, closed with a spinning top on the daily chart. Kind of a neutral candle, and we were kind of in the middle, so I wasn't real sure which way we would go, but I did indicate that I thought if anything we would go a little bit higher, just because we had a higher close yesterday than the previous day. Ultimately that didn't happen. I mean, we went higher to begin, just to open. We started out a little bit higher, but then we kind of we opened up here and shot up to here, and I thought we were on our way up to at least to here, yesterday's high, maybe up to here, somewhere in this range, 283, but we didn't get there. We kind of fell apart. I don't know if there was news. I don't know. I didn't pay attention today. I was busy all day with work stuff, so didn't really follow it along too well. But this candle here was kind of in no man's land, and it's a neutral candle, so didn't really know what it would do today, but I hinted that I thought if anything we might go up because it was a higher close than the previous day, but that didn't happen. We came down. You see this gap, it's still not technically filled because we didn't close below this level. We need to close below the bottom of the gap, which is 278.62. But we did come down and breach it, and I was trying to play a bounce out of that gap. So I got in calls at 11:40, and I got in a little bit earlier than I should have. But it's not you can't nail them all every time. In fact, you probably won't nail too many of them hardly ever perfectly. So I entered right here at the beginning of this candle. My reasoning was we came down and we bounced. We poked through this pivot, but we bounced right out of it. And I kind of thought that we were going to have the same thing happen that happened last week with the other gap. I kind of thought that we would start from here. We would start running back up, which we eventually did. We just didn't do it as soon as I was thinking we might. So I got in right here. I paid $1.47. I don't know how far I was actually down. I think it went down to like $1.20. I was down probably maybe 15-20%. I'm guessing. I didn't really pay attention. I just knew that I was looking at this level and we dropped below it, and then I was watching the bottom of this candle, and we lost that. And I thought the next logical place would be 278. I know that was a pretty good resistance / support in the past. Did I say 277? I meant 278. So I was watching 278, and I thought if we drop below 278, I'm going to get out. We did drop below it here, but it wasn't a big enough drop, and it didn't close below it. So I went ahead, excuse me, still have this cold here. So I went ahead and stayed in it, and it's a good thing I did. I actually was in this trade for a little over an hour. I got out of the first contract. I only had 2 contracts. Got out of the first one at 12:52, which was right after the open of this candle. And the reasoning for it was I was playing a run up to this level, and there's a reason for that. We have the top of a candle here, which it's a price pivot. If you look here, it represents a high from. You can't really call it a run or a trend, but nonetheless, it's a high. This candle represented a high, which could offer some resistance. And also, we had this line, which I think was yesterday's low. So we had. I was playing it to a run to here, but I got to here and I thought, let me just go ahead and sell one contract I made a trade earlier in the day following that following somebody else, and I was actually in the red a little bit, so I didn't really want this one to go red on me. So I sold one contract at 12.52, which was right after this candle opened. I felt it getting a little bit top heavy. The stochastic started to curl down. So I sold one of them at $1.71, which that's what, 24. That's probably about a 17% or so gain. In hindsight, I should have sold both of them, but I didn't. Or actually, in hindsight, I probably should have held both of them all the way up to here, but I didn't. It pulled back. I let the other one go at 13.03, which would have been just after the open of this candle. Right after we dropped below this gap, the upper part of the gap fill, that's when I sold the second one. I sold it at $1.51, so just slightly over, just slightly profitable on that second one. I shouldn't say almost. I wanted to get in right here. The reason why was because we had support here. I thought this was going to be a pretty strong support area, and we had a bullish engulfing candle. The problem is this candle was so big. You don't want to get in right here when there's still 4 minutes left in the candle, because it could very easily pull all the way back to here. Now you got in on a candle that doesn't exist anymore. If it was here, the top of the candle was here, and there's only 30 seconds, maybe a minute left before the end of the candle, I might go ahead and get in. But when there's 3 or 4 minutes left and I'm right here, I'm not getting in. So you wait till the candle closes. Well, now you're way up here. I'm not going to enter way up here when my stop out is way down here. So I was watching it. I wanted to get in, but I just couldn't. I couldn't justify it, because by the time the candle closed, we were too far away from my stop, and it just wouldn't have made sense. But that's one I did want to try to get in. Didn't work out. It didn't fail, but it just doesn't. It's not feasible to get into a trade with this big of a candle. Now maybe if you had a pullback on this candle, if this candle pulls back to maybe about here or so, it's a different story. It might change things, but just can't justify getting in at this level. That was pretty much it. We played around with this 100 simple moving average, played around with that a few times. You see we had a bearish engulfing here, but it's right at support. Bearish engulfing and hit the support and bounce back up. Bearish engulfing here, came down, we're close to support, and it would have worked out. I mean, if you could have got in here, got in puts here, you would have been negative here for a while, but you could have ended up making money here. But not the best entry, not the smartest entry. So this is really I didn't like I said, I didn't put a lot of effort into today's charts because I was busy with work. But I was watching because I know it was getting close to lunchtime, and I just finished up a meeting, and I glanced over and saw this, and I said, well, I felt pretty good about playing it here. Normally my stops are tighter, and I would have stopped out of this sooner and lost money, but that's one of the things I noticed now following this other trader. A lot of his entries are stuff that I look for, so it looks like we're pretty close in style to trade, or trading wise, but I play more conservative, and that I know sometimes that hurts me, and this would have been one of those cases. And following this other trader for a few days this week has I've went in lighter position size, and I've let them dictate when I get out. So it's in a way, it's kind of teaching me some more a little bit more patience than what I don't want to say patience, because not patience isn't the reason that I stop out. I stop out to keep my losses small. But maybe I'm just being a little bit too aggressive with my stops. So today I kind of let it breathe a little bit, and I figured 278 was going to be my cutoff, and that was it. And it held, and because I knew 278 had been pretty good support and resistance recently, so ended up holding, and it worked out. So in the end, I ended up green on the day, not by a lot, but a little bit. So that's pretty much it for today's charts, today's SPY. Let's take a look at the daily again. Yeah, we're still kind of in no man's land. I would say this looks like a pretty bearish day overall, but we also had a long tail. We came back pretty far from 278 all the way up to 279.60. So we had a pretty good, strong run at the end of the day here. So ultimately, in my opinion, it's an ugly chart. I don't think we're gonna see much green tomorrow, but yesterday I said I thought we'd see green today. So although I did say it was iffy, I was figuring about a 55-60% chance we'd see green today. Tomorrow I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back tomorrow down below 278. But we'll see. If I knew those answers, I'd be rich. But so it's just a look at today's chart. Like I said, a look at the SPY trade I got in, and I didn't follow anybody on that trade. This was something I got in on my own. So I think that's the first trade this week that I got in on my own, I think. But trying to test other strategies, and they said never stop learning. If you stop, then you're gonna fall behind. So I see somebody else that works, and they percentage-wise, I don't know if they have a better winning percentage than I do, but their wins are bigger. Their losses are bigger also, but it also it works out for them in the end. So, and that's kind of what I'm trying to work on, extending my profits a little bit, letting my profits run a little bit more. Most of my wins are 7-8%, and yeah, 7 or 8% is great, but when you have a 10% loss, that makes a 7 or 8% win that much harder to overcome that loss. So trying to, like I said, I don't really think patience is the right word, but trying to get maybe the confidence to ease up a little bit on my stop outs, and ease up on my targets a little bit. As soon as I see profit, I want to get out. So it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like that kid playing, what was it, tag, or not tag? Yeah, tag. You have your in elementary school, you played tag, and you had this little area that was your safe spot. And the way I've been playing, I'm only getting 3-4 feet away from that safe spot because I don't want to venture too far away. I'm trying to get a little bit further away so I can get a little bit more profit here. So that's kind of what I'm working on. I think that was a pretty good analogy, but either way, I think I have the consistency down pretty good. I'm finding the entries. I just need to relax a little bit more on my exits and on my stop outs. So, but that's a balancing act, because if you relax your stop outs, now your losses are going to be bigger. So you have to maintain that balance and figure that out. So that's why I'm going in light on these trades. In all honesty, I should probably be paper trading this because it is something I'm trying different, but I'm going in with small enough amounts, and I'm confident enough that I'll be able to be profitable on this. So, alright, that's it for today. Catch up with you tomorrow, and good trading. See ya.